I'm looking at my teeth. Anyway, I should stop and restart. Anyway, so I had a couple things I had to do today, and today is Friday, and I knew I had to get some things done. One of the first things I wanted to do was go to the hospital where it's a HMO, and I have my health care there, and my mom has her health care there. And I had received something in regards to my mom, an advance directive that they wanted to have in place. And my mom already has that in place, but they wanted to have it in her file. And it just says what her wishes are and that kind of stuff. And so we're getting that kind of stuff. It has been situated, but just not in her file. So they said that I could take it into member services or something like that, and I could drop it off. And I thought, oh, yay, I'll go. And I know they have the farmer's market there today. So I thought, I'll go. And I had talked to somebody on the phone about this, and they also scheduled me an appointment this coming up Tuesday to do the one where you have the paper hanging in your house that your family member doesn't want to be resuscitated in a situation where their heart might stop, a DNR type thing. So anyway, I'll have that appointment Tuesday for that, but I'm getting this advance directive where I'm the one in charge of, primary person in charge of, decisions if my mom is incapable of making them. And that's very important to have in place. So I take my mom up there and I'm pushing her, she's in a wheelchair. She uses a walker, but it's too far to walk. So I'm pushing her around the hospital and going to where I'm going to drop it off. And there's a big sign that says that area is no longer taking paperwork. And I thought, well, the person on the phone said I could also leave it with the doctor. So I went up to where the doctor is at. So that's another area. And they said, no, you have to go over here to health education or something like that. So I went up the elevator and I found it, and thank goodness they took the paperwork, and they said, a lot of the people are now working remotely, and that the department that I was looking for had just closed March 10th, where they went all remote, and that the person on the phone probably making the phone appointment Tuesday probably doesn't know that for this particular facility or something. I don't know. So anyway, they then tell me, because I said, what I don't understand is I manage my mom's medical stuff, and I have been for years, and I'm on the medical app where I go on and I put her name and the password I created for her, but it always looks like it's like her doing it. And then I have my own that I do, but I'm using the same phone, and it's like almost confusing my phone where it's like, is this a new device? Like each person should have their own phone. So I told them that, and they said, well, your mom can go on her site and she can put that you're an acting person to be her caregiver, and it will connect the two accounts. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's easy enough. So I did that. I went onto her site, and now it's saying that Laura is her caregiver, and so now when I call to talk to the advice nurse or different people, they always need to hear that she has given, me permission, and, she is sometimes real hard of hearing, and it's hard for her to even hear them, but they just need to hear somebody say something. And it's never like it's face to face. So it could literally be, Mom, they want to hear that it's okay that, you tell me something. And then I could just be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay if Laura, type thing. But, I don't do that. I actually have her be the one, and there's no voice recognition. So it's just all for whatever you want to call it. I call it show. There's no real verification. So anyway, as I got it, as I am her person now on the account where it says, Laura is your person that can communicate to your doctor, see your test results, all the stuff I have been doing, but not maybe legally for the system. I manage my mom's stuff. Anyway, it is valid, and I thought this was kind of funny, until April 17th, 2075. My mom's 87 years old. I know this place wants people to thrive, but yeah, it is valid till April 17th, 2075, unless she deems otherwise and doesn't want it. She can go into the app and take it off, but she doesn't, she's never even used the app. I didn't even use it. I just recently, kind of recent past decade, got online with it. The second thing that happened today was this. Let me show you. This is my flip phone. I've had it for years. Not the same phone, but I've just had. I keep a flip phone. I have my smartphone and I have my flip phone, and I've had this at least 12 years, this number, and have kept a flip phone. You know, my daughter used to joke and say, like, what are you got a burner phone? What are you doing, Mom? But I've just had it, and then I thought, it's a Metro phone, and I pay $25 every month for this phone, and I'm billed for it, and it's like a prepayment, whatever. And I kind of thought, I'm not using this phone. I did use it on my road trip. On my road trip, which probably won't happen again for a long, long time, I was able to, when this smartphone I'm talking into that does all this wonderful stuff, go on to HMO apps and banking and all this, and this phone just is a phone. It doesn't have internet access. When I was on my road trip in an area that I could not get a signal with my smartphone, this phone I was able to call. So part of me is like, this phone, I've gotten signals in elevators and weird places where nobody else can get. But I thought, you know what, $25 a month, I feel like with prices and stuff, that's like $300 a year, and I'm not using it. I basically charge it up and then I don't use it, So I thought, this is a waste of money, and $300 is $300. $25 every month, I can buy eggs. I could buy probably like 2 cartons of eggs, right? I could get maybe 30 eggs, right? Anyway, so yeah, there's that. So I go to the Metro store, and I go in there, and I'm sugar deprived, and I hadn't had my lunch yet, and I'm grouchy, and and I go in there and I'm like, hey, I want to close my account, blah blah blah. The guy's like, okay. So he's like, what is your number? I give him the number, and then he punches it in, and he's like, what's your he said something I couldn't understand. He had a very, very heavy accent, and I could not understand him. And I'm married to somebody with an accent. I do not put people down with accents. I don't speak multiple languages. I mean, he spoke English, but I could not understand him. He's a frontline person there. I couldn't understand him. I know sometimes on the phone I might have a hard time with a heavy accent. I don't know why this guy is working there where I'm not able to understand him. And I can understand a lot of people. I live in a very diverse community and can understand. I really can understand. I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I'm like, and I'm not wanting to be rude. I'm just like, what was that? And he kept saying it over and over. And what he was trying to find out was my date of birth. But he was saying it so fast, it was an unclear garble. And I finally figured out what he was saying. So I gave it to him. And then he said he was going to text me a message to this flip phone, and I had to give him the code, and he's on his system, and he said he couldn't change things from the system. Now, he didn't clearly understand really what needed to be done. So what he needed to tell me was this, because I found this out after the fact. You just need to go home. You need to go on, your account. You need to go onto the Metro account, and you have to change that if you have an automatic payment coming out, because you are, like, I pay ahead of time, you just cancel the automatic payment and then it will close. Simple as that. Instead, he tells me, I can't help you with closing the account. I called the number, and because you're such a long-term customer and been so loyal, they want to talk to you. And I'm like, what? I said, does that make sense to you? You can't close my account because somebody wants to talk to me. You need to dial 611, and it has to be from your phone, and you need to talk to them. And how come you're canceling your account? I'm like, how come I'm canceling my? What do you mean? Did you go with somebody else? I mean, I feel like me and this guy's been dating, and I've been like cheating on him, and he wants to know who I went to. I mean, he was like interrogating me. I'm like, I don't want the phone anymore. I don't want to pay $25 a month. How come? I'm like, just, I thought it was going to be easy. Just shut it down, but So I dialed the 611 like he said, and that whole thing says that you have to go to your My Account Metro or whatever. So I went on my smartphone, because this flip phone isn't a smartphone, and I went to My Account and I was able to get in, only because it recognizes my number, and I don't know what my password, none of that, but it sent a text to it. Luckily it works. And so I was able to get in there and then stop the auto pay of $25 every month. So that was that. That was that. And I hadn't had my lunch yet, and I haven't had any sugar, and I had to deal with that. It was just, part of me, if I could have filmed it, but then I don't like to, put people out there. It was awful. It was awful. And I told him, I will never come back to this store. I will never get a Metro product from this store again. And then it wasn't all that long ago in my community, somebody had wrote like they were overcharged for stuff there. There's been problems at that store. Some new people took over, but I want to almost go back and tell him, you gave me wrong information. You really did. I understand now. I would have to go onto my account, and that I have to stop the auto pay, that you can't do that for me. Even though that's so stupid, because if I went in there, I can clearly buy stuff, they can activate, but so my phone is going to deactivate probably around the 24th. It's not going to work anymore. So nobody calls me on it anyway, so because I have a new phone. So yeah, so there's that. But all is well, and I read in ARP that if you smile, it gives you a facelift. My mom says it makes my forehead look more wrinkled. Okay. Looks stupid. Anyway, peace. Have a good day.